live. Welcome to the Chicago Sully Show. Hope everyone's had a phenomenal Thanksgiving. Today, a big focus is going to be on the Bears' upcoming matchup against the Eagles. At this point, Bears are still first place, 8-3, sitting atop of the best division of football, the NFC North. So the Bears are the real deal. Phenomenal team, but their chances of making the playoffs still sit at only 59%, which is the lowest of any current playoff team. Big reasoning for that is because of their remaining schedule. They have 4 remaining games versus current playoff teams, Eagles being one of them, 49ers, and then 2 against Green Bay. And that doesn't include the Lions Week 18 matchup. So still a lot of great football to be played here. The Bears still have some questions that need to be answered with these 6 games left in the season. And no other way to put it as this is a measuring stick game for the Bears. So they have a toughest game of the year ahead of them, facing the defending Super Bowl champions. And we are looking to better understand, are the Bears turning the corner? Are they a true contender this year? Are they really going to compete for a championship? Or are they still have some work to be done and still progress to be made as we look into the future? So regardless of how tomorrow sits, it is worth noting that a year ago from Black Friday, Eberflus got fired. So from a year ago to where we are now, still a lot of growth has been shown. So there's a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving season. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, we got to get to know our opponent. The Eagles, coming off their Super Bowl run last year. Again, still an amazing team, sitting at 8-3. Although their fan base, the morale is relatively low, considering they just blew a 21-point lead against the Cowboys. Obviously, their fans have very high expectations for their team, so it makes sense where they're at. But still, one of the top teams all in football, widely respected. Defense has been phenomenal, one of the top defenses in the league. That said, the offense hasn't been the same as it was last year. A great example here is Saquon Barkley, one of their leading rusher. Last year, he had over 2,000 yards. He averaged over 125 yards a game. Meanwhile, this year, he's only averaging just over 62 yards a game. He's been wearing down later in the games. First quarter of the games this year for the Eagles, Saquon's averaged almost 6 yards per carry. Meanwhile, in the fourth quarter, he's only averaged 1.9 yards per carry in the fourth quarter, which is worse in football. So it's one of those where they're starting off strong, as we saw in the Dallas game last week, 21-point lead, but not closing games out. We've seen that a few times this year where they blew a fourth quarter lead against the Broncos. They almost blew a fourth quarter lead against the Rams, and they're not that same offense that's putting teams away like they have in the past. It is worth noting that our Bears fans have had an alliance with the Eagle fans on Twitter. There's been an Chicago-Philly alliance where the Eagles are currently 3-0 against NFC North teams, and the Bears are 3-0 against NFC East teams. So lots of love with the City of Brotherly Love. When looking at key matchups, we first need to start with Ben Johnson's high-flying offense versus Vic Fangio's defense. A little bit about Vic Fangio. Used to be a Bears defensive coordinator, Super Bowl winner with the Eagles. His resume speaks for itself. The Eagles defense is the strength of their team currently. Eagles defense has limited teams to under 200 passing yards in 3 of its last 4 games. And Caleb's been averaging over 230 yards per game. He's been playing really well. Again, playing clean football, great at football. So it's going to be a big test. And this is our first true test against a Super Bowl caliber roster. So it's going to be really intriguing. Going on the road, hostile environment. It's going to be really intriguing how our offense performs. And when we look at the Eagles defense, a lot of their pressure and their disguised coverages versus Ben Johnson's unique play calling ability, while they consider one of the best play callers in all football. It's going to be really intriguing to see how that plays out. Big key there, limit the turnovers, play clean football, not put ourselves in third and long situations, and efficiency in the red zone. It's going to be really big keys to look at on the offensive side. It'll also be interesting to see how our offensive line holds up against that tough Philly defense. Going on the road, playing in an environment like this, going to be very intriguing to see how that all turns out for the Bears. And on the defensive side, the defense has been playing very well lately. They've not gotten the credit they deserve. Even last week with all the injuries, for them to only give up less than 350 yards, to only give up 21 points on the defensive side. They've been very underrated. That's a huge testament to Dennis Allen and defensive scheme. That said, we've not played a offense like this since week 2 against Detroit, so played some good teams, but we've not played a team like Philly with a Super Bowl caliber roster, so it's going to be a great test to see how our defense holds up. And alluded to the Saquon stat earlier, where Saquon's averaged a little over 60 yards per game this year, which is nearly half of what he's done last year, so their offense has not been the same full force as they've been in the past. So it's really going to rely on Jalen Hurts, and is he going to get the ball to his key receivers. So it's going to be big on A.J. Brown to have a game if the Eagles want to take over this game. And as we're looking at X factors, turnovers are going to play such a key part in this game. The Bears do lead the league in takeaways with 24 of them, so it's important that we turn the ball over against a very disciplined Philly offense. If the Bears lose a turnover battle, then it may not be looking good for us. Philly is 40-2 under Dick Sirianni when they win the turnover battle, so we really need a clean game from Caleb, and we really need our defense to step up, turn the ball over, and get that momentum. Red zone efficiency is also big. That goes without saying. And on the other side of the ball, bend don't break attitude. Another big factor is to keep the game close. Caleb's led 5 comeback wins in games which the Bears have trailed in the last 2 minutes or more this year. We can lead the league in comeback wins. As you've seen all year long, the Cardiac Bears always win these close games, and going up against an Eagle team where they're a veteran team, they're that winning pedigree. That said, they've had their struggles in the fourth quarter as of late, so if the Bears can come out to another strong start, the middle 8 is going to be such an important factor of the game, where the last 4 minutes of the second half, first 4 minutes in the third quarter, if we can control that part of the game and at least not let the game get away, if it gets down late in the fourth quarter, rely on Ben Johnson, rely on Caleb. As long as we keep the game close late, really feel confident where the Bears are at and being able to stay in the fight for the entire 60 minutes. And what this means for Bears fans, this is a great testing point to see where this team is truly at. This game will show whether the Bears belong in the conversation of potentially winning a Super Bowl, potentially winning a few playoff games, or if it's time to pump the brakes on the hype a little bit. So it's a great culture test for this team. The Bears have built a great culture all year long with that winning mentality, so it's going to be really intriguing to see how this game plays out, because a win here would put the Bears on the national radar as a Super Bowl contender. No other way to say it. And a close loss keeps us alive, but a blowout loss, if Philly is a great team, all the respect, but a blowout loss would reset expectations pretty quickly as we're looking into the final stretch of the year here. So, from my viewpoint, the most likely outcome here is going to be a gritty defensive effort. It's going to come down to fourth quarter execution, which will play in the Bears' favor. We need Caleb to make a few big throws, but also play clean football. Again, that turnover battle is going to be such a big factor in this game. So, early on, we're going to be able to see how Ben Johnson, if he has a more conservative play call, kind of plays into just wanting to manage the game a little bit more versus letting the offense really air out. So, that would be very intriguing to see. So, I think the Bears are going to stay in this game. They're going to keep it close. It's going to be awesome to see how it plays out, though. So, my score prediction is going to be 24-27 Bears. Can't pick against them. So ideally, keep it close in the fourth quarter. Stay in the fight. We'll see how it all goes out. But regardless, we have so much to be thankful for, because from a year ago on Black Friday last year, from Eberflus being fired to all the close losses last year, all the clock mismanagement, to having a great coaching staff, actually seeing progress being made on the field, heading in the right direction. And there's just so much hope in the city. And there's not been this much hope for Chicago Bears fans since 2018. So it's just a great time to be a Bears fan. It's a great time to be a Chicago sports fan. So on that note, let's hope the Bears can pull it off. Let's hope the city can continue this momentum, pushing it into hopefully what's going to be a dominant playoff run. So either way, future's bright. So on that note, bear down. Hope everyone has a great day, and we will see you for the recap on Friday.